time the first European settlers arrived in the upper River Valley, the American Indians had largely abandoned the area. They had either moved away or died out due to illnesses. The absence of deer scholars here is believed to have resulted from natural wildfires, along with possible deforestation by the Indians. Broad rivers, steep, rocky hillsides, and poor to non-existent roads deterred transportation. Local settlers lived incredibly isolated. They were self-reliant in their livelihood. Pioneering was a hard life, and no one prospered. Everyone shared a common poverty. Indeed, this was back country. At first, settlers arrived in small numbers. They came from Virginia and surrounding colonies. Then, after the French and Indian War, large numbers came from the Delmarva Peninsula of Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and inland regions of Virginia and Maryland. They came in search of cheap, open, fertile land, which was increasingly unavailable where they lived, or it was priced beyond their reach. Later, after the War for Independence was won, more settlers arrived, often relatives and friends of those that were already here. Many immigrants who landed at ports in South and North Carolina moved inland, but rarely beyond the fall line. That's where the rapids and waterfalls impeded transportation. The family names of some of the early settlers in this area included Randall, Snuggs, Marshall, Tillman, and Ledbetter. Then there were Allen, Shaker, Swearingen, and Colston, and Clark, Christian, Ross, Crump, and Lilligan. The first years of the War for Independence were fought in the North, in New England, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. Then England brought the war to South Carolina, and from there it spread inland, eventually in North Carolina. In July of 1780, the war had reached South Carolina upcountry, and war was on the minds of people in the upper PD River Valley. Let's listen now to travelers at Colston's Ordinary, the halfway point on the King's Highway from Salisbury to Chiron. Act 1, Scene 1, Colston's Ordinary.
Thank you, son. You gonna help with the horses?
Yes, sir, boss. That's my job.
Your board claims food left on line. Any truth to that?
Welcome, gentlemen.
Your board claims the food left on line.
That's what they tell me, sir.
That's what is, or any truth to that?
Yes, sir, it is.
Where's Colson?
Lord, mister, we can't keep up with his whereabouts.
Is Colson a Tory again?
Ask who? I don't know nothing about that. You have to ask him about that.
John Colson here. Somebody call my name?
Yeah, Mr. Colson. What's the latest down the line?
Gentlemen, I don't know which side you're on. As my guest, you will be treated with respect here.
Naturally, exactly as we would expect.
I suppose you know more up in Salisbury than we do down here. The tide can change with any battle.
Well, just tell us what the latest you've heard.
From what we hear, the king's men are doing right well down there. Got the Patriots on the run.
Is that the war made in any day now? You saying that?
No, you said that. What I know is King George has been good to me.
You sound like a Tory still. Don't you have faith in the people of North Carolina to govern themselves?
Sir, when have people ever governed themselves?
In 1780, John Colson operated an ordinary mill, trading post, and ferry in the Forum, near the confluence of the Petey and Rocky Rivers. Colson was no newcomer to the region. Records show he received large land grants before and after 1750, the year Anson was formed from Bladen County. Having received such royal favors, Colson was disinclined to be a patriot, as were many others. He was a loyalist, also called a Tory. As such, Colson had been threatened with eviction from North Carolina, but by recanting his political views and swearing allegiance to the new country, he was permitted to remain. The importance of the Colson community is illustrated on a map of the Southern Campaign, published in 1781 in London, a reproduction of which is on display tonight. Colson's is the only village or community shown on the map between Salisbury and Sherall. In fact, no other location is noted in Stanley County, Montgomery, or Anson. From the earliest days, grist mills were an essential part of the community's economy. Farmers brought corn and grain to be ground. A country store and blacksmith shop were usually located nearby, often owned by the miller himself or a relative. So essential was a mill to the community that states enacted laws giving special rights to millers and imposing certain obligations on them. Between the years 1715 and 1877, the North Carolina General Assembly passed 10 different laws regulating mill operations. The mill owner was issued a license to operate for a certain distance up and downstream, often 2 miles each way. These monopolies were granted to entice the construction of mills. If a miller needed to acquire adjacent land, say across the stream, the laws of eminent domain were available for securing it. To enjoy these privileges, the miller had to abide by certain rules. The first law passed said if one erects a mill, it is to be a public mill, available to anyone. A miller could not refuse service to anyone. The second law required that millers shall grind according to terms which means first come, first served. And shall well and sufficiently grind the grain brought to their mills. The fee for grinding was to be no greater than 1/8 part of wheat and 1/6 part of Indian corn. Stated differently, each 8 bushels of wheat, the miller kept 1 for his fee. There was a single caveat, and that is water permitted. Many mills are known to have existed along the Petey and Rocky Rivers, and Jacobs, Ugly, and Long Creeks. John Colson would have had such a mill. Anson County's records show there was a second grist mill operating at that time upriver, later known as Riverview Mill. An artist's illustration of that 19th century mill is also on display tonight. In July 1780, a month following the scene at Colson's Ordinary that you just witnessed, a skirmish occurred nearby between the Loyalist and Patriot forces. A Loyalist contention, led by Colonel Samuel Bryan, went north from Cheraw into the Awaris, searching for food and men. Upon returning downstream and crossing the Petey at Colson's, they were met by a Patriot force under the command of Colonel William Lee Davidson. The principal result of Colson's skirmish seems to have been Bryan's loss of conscripts. Many of them scattered from the battlefield and returned upriver to their homes, thus denying Cornwallis the new recruits that he sought. Also, a further note, John Colson departed with Bryan and apparently never returned to North Carolina. John Colson's properties were confiscated by the state. After the war, Colson's grandson, also named John Colson, reacquired some parts of it. The grandson was fortunate that his grandfather deeded certain properties to his son William, the father of the grandson, before he left. As such, the confiscation order was vacated for something like that. By then, Williams was deceased, so the property went to the next generation of John. Colson battle was well celebrated. Not so well remembered, however, is the importance of Colson's Ferry on the Petey and the network of roads over which forces from both armies traveled during the Southern campaign. As every school child learns, the King's Army surrendered to the brave patriots of Yorktown, and the 13 colonies became independent states. After a period when each state attempted to gain economic advantage over the other, changes were required. Some states invited others to adopt uniform commercial codes, but after several failed attempts, it was agreed that all states should meet to resolve such issues. A convention was held at Philadelphia during the summer of 1787, and George Washington presided. The delegates crafted a constitution, placed it before the various independent states for ratification. North Carolina held a special convention at Hillsborough to consider this issue. William Kendall was the delegate from Montgomery County. Let's listen to his description of what occurred at Hillsborough. Act 1, Scene 2, Allentown, the Red House, August 1788.
Come in, Kendall. Just the man we've been waiting to see. Mark, find Isaac. He'll want to hear this.
James, we did exactly as you said. North Carolina is not going to ratify that Constitution as written.
Iredell and Blunt, what do they have to say?
Oh, fellas, I want to hear this from the beginning.
Well, we haven't said anything yet.
Okay, Kendall, give us to us straight. What's happening?
Well, it was never even close. 2-1 majority.
Well, we knew that was going in. But we don't want a Confederate governor controlling us and bossing us like a king.
Oh, just a minute, Isaac. That's not the whole of it. We voted not to ratify or reject the Constitution, but we proposed that Congress include a Bill of Rights in the Constitution.
Yeah. Bill of Rights. What does that have to do with us? We don't need a president that acts like a king to pull us around by our nose.
Well, fellas, listen to me. concern across the state for a Bill of Rights is strong and growing. That will protect us from all the long reach of a federalist government.
What's this Bill of Rights anyway?
It's to protect our personal liberties.
I hope your Hopi boys know what you're doing.
During the 1770s, three Allen brothers purchased property along the Pee River and constructed three prominent homes or commercial buildings, each painted in different colors. The famous Red House, managed by James Allen, was for many years an ordinary or hotel. Its proximity to the river crossing and local grog shops made it a popular meeting place and a site for dances, parties, games of chance, and, as one might imagine, its share of fisticuffs. A mercantile store and ferry were operated by someone named Mark, and a tavern by someone named Isaac. Tax records from the 1780s indicate that together Mark and Isaac owned more than 3,000 acres and 9 slaves. This, of course, was prior to the cotton gin and the King Cotton era. The village was known as Allentown. Later, it was known as Allentown. If you're wondering where Allentown was located, its remains lie submerged beneath Lake Tillery, near Norwood's water purification plant. As for the aftermath of Hillsborough, Congress passed 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. North Carolina then ratified the Constitution and was united with other 12 states in the new republic. In 1813, Allentown received a U.S. post office, the second one in the territory that would become Stanley County. Back in 1799, the early post office was opened at Tendersville, the original county seat of Montgomery County. Tendersville was located on a hillside near today's boat landing at Morrow Mountain State Park. Sometime before 1824, the Tendersville post office was closed. The county seat was relocated to Henderson, across the river near the confluence of the Yadkin and Uwharrie rivers. For more than 100 years, rural post offices were located in a country street or in a private residence. Being postmaster was a part-time job. Let's visit Postmaster Frederick Randall at his Allentown store on his first day on the job as the United States Postmaster. Act 1, Scene 3, Allentown Post Office.
Come in, Kendall. When did you ever stop knocking?
Well, Frederick Randall, United States Postmaster, Allentown, North Carolina. How does that feel?
You're the first to say that. What can I do for you?
I got a letter here I want to post to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Kendall, you know you're also my first customer. You can brag about that so they your grandbabies.
Yeah, when the navigation improvements come, Allentown will be on the map for real. You'll be bringing firewood up from Gerald and heading it all over the interior of Montgomery County.
No one ever said you were a dreamer, Kendall.
Listen, Frederick, listen here. Anybody who ever did anything had to dream of it first.
You're right about that.
Well, back to work. How do I post this letter? What's the cost?
How should I know that? This is my first day on the job.
By 1813, Allentown was a minor river port with large ambitions. Local commerce was conducted up and down and across the Petey River. Allentown had two main streets. Water Street ran parallel to the river and fronting the ferry landing, and Main Street was perpendicular to it, extending into a small village. The era was filled with anticipation of navigational improvements. Within several years, both Frederick Randall and Thomas Kendall were among the many investors of the Yadkin Navigation Company of Salisbury. They had high hopes of clearing and deepening the river for shipping to South Carolina and on to deep water. Upriver, there were dreams of digging a canal connecting the Yadkin and Cape Fear rivers, allowing cargo to be shipped from there to Fayetteville and Wilmington, from whence it could be transported over the high seas to the world markets. At the time, water transport was by far the least expensive and most efficient method of transportation. Their dreams were not altogether crazy. Others across the nation were dreaming of even larger projects. Consider the Erie Canal. It crossed the whole of New York State, connecting the Great Lakes to the Hudson and then to the Atlantic Ocean. The Erie Canal was conceived, designed, financed, and constructed during this same period, the 1810s and 1820s. It was a massive success. Unfortunately, the Yadkin Petey investment failed. Too many and too great were the obstacles on the Yadkin Petey. But one cannot say our ancestors did not dream big. Act 1, Scene 4, Norwood Brothers Store and Post Office, August 1838.
Well, Honorable Edmund F. Lilly, I've been wondering if you would ever collect mail. I've been out campaigning. It's a never-ending job. How's the petition coming? It's printed already. It'll be in this week. Simon, do you remember what she told us to get? Yes, sir. Better hurry up. All the camp meeting's still going on. Well, there's really nothing to worry about. It'll be here in time. The camp meeting will last 2 more weeks. I don't see how we can miss out. Another burned courthouse, people afraid of drowning while crossing a raging river to get to court. And when I go to the General Assembly, I'm going to put a picture of terror and fear in them, and they'll vote us accounted for sure.
What's it going down in the county? Lily County?
Forget that. That's just political talk from across the river. The General Assembly can name the county whatever they want. Don't you remember how Cabarrus County was named? Thank you.
Camp meetings began on the frontier in Kentucky during the early 1800s. Folks from all around came together for several weeks in late July and August for fellowship and worship. In church history, that period is known as the Second Great Awakening. Camp meetings were held when the crops were laid by, the period when cultivation had ceased and crops were growing. At that season, farm families could get away and enjoy camp meeting. People camped out in tents under the stars. They brought chicken and cow and the entire family, including their slaves. The affair was part religious experience, part county fair, and part courtship ritual. People enjoyed the company of neighbors whom they might see only on this one occasion each year. By 1817, annual camp meetings occurred at Center, which is located here on these church grounds. Soon after, the Methodist Episcopal Church at Center was organized. At various periods, Other camp meetings were held nearby at Randall and Rehoboth Methodist churches, Rocky River Springs, and Cottonville AME Zion Church, and perhaps elsewhere. Families came to camp meeting from near and far. Act 1, Scene 5, a residential parlor in 1841.
Maggie, did you ever think we would see this day? Not I. I think it's only happened on account of the courthouse fire in Lawrenceville. A mighty convenient fire for somebody, I'd say. That's not our business, Jenny. Let's leave that to the folks in Montgomery to sort out now.
What do you mean, not our business, Maggie? Courthouse fires cause loss of land records. Folks are still trying to sort out who owns what from the last fire.
Well, Sis Daisy, what do you think of the men in charge of choosing the new county seat?
Folks say they're all honest men.
Sure, I bet they're honest men. But I tell you one thing, I'm sure they'll still try and put the county seat up at Smith's store. You can bet your Sunday hat on it.
And just ignore the fact that here in Central all the money's made, and Lily can do nothing about that. We did get us a county of our own from the General Assembly.
Well, the middle of the county, that's where folks think government ought to be. Lily says that that's what the legislation requires.
As for the others, Evan Hearn, nothing wrong with him. He'll make a fine high sheriff. He had that job in Montgomery.
And we all know William Swearingen. They got a wise man there for the county commission.
When the first colonists arrived in what is now Tyson Center, this region was part of Bladen County. As the population increased, Bladen was divided and Anson County was established. That was in 1750. 3 decades later, in 1879, Anson County was divided and Montgomery County was formed. And at that time, today, Stanley County was the western half of Montgomery County. In 1841, Stanley County was carved from Montgomery with the Yakima PD as the boundary. It was Edmund F. Lilly who introduced the bill to the General Assembly. Commissioners were appointed, and it was their duty to select a site for the county seat and name it. The family of Nehemiah Hearn and his heirs offered 50 acres for use as the county seat. Their offer was accepted, and the name Albemarle was bestowed upon the new village. Naturally, the post office was moved from Smith's store to Albemarle. No longer did Stanley County citizens have to navigate a raging river to conduct court business. Previous Montgomery County courthouses were located at Tyndallsville first, near today's Morrow Mountain Boat Landing. Second, it was at Henderson on the Uwharrie River, across from the boat landing near the confluence with the Yadkin, where the Yadkin changes from the Yadkin to the PD. And third, it was at Lawrenceville, located inland from the current Garrison Bridge. It was at Lawrenceville that the latest courthouse fire provided fodder for Western Montgomery citizens to petition the General Assembly for a county of their own. Evan Hearn was Stanley County's first sheriff. Besides maintaining law and order, the sheriff was responsible for collecting taxes. He rode horseback throughout the county fulfilling his duties. Other first office holders included William Swearingen, chairman of the county commission, D. Hearn, clerk of court, D.P. Morton, register of deeds. Court was held in an upstairs room rented from Nancy Hearn, Nehemiah's widow.
Now, by the 1840s, cotton had become the principal crop on plantations along the rivers at Center and Titan townships. Cotton grew well here, and cotton gins would have been available for those with sufficient cotton to process. Moreover, better roadways and navigational improvements were ever present on the minds of local planters. Transporting cotton overland to Cheraw had become increasingly more economical. And from Cheraw, steamboats transported it to Georgetown. From Georgetown's deep waterport, ocean-going vessels delivered the cotton to the rapidly expanding English textile industry. Cotton prices then soared. Later, in the early 1850s, the advent of plank roads was a vogue throughout North Carolina and other states. Plank roads, as well as public ferries, were privately owned businesses. They were licensed and regulated by the legislature and Congress. One paid a toll fee for using them. Similar to grist mills, plank roads and public ferries were authorized monopolies with regulated standards of operation and pricing. A plank road from Wadesboro north through Crossroads, which was later called Cottonville, was authorized by the General Assembly. But its construction appears to have halted near the Rocky River crossing. At Wadesboro, another plank road extended to Sherrard. Thus, cotton going along Rocky River could be transported to market much more easily. Historians say that the decade of the 1850s was the most prosperous period for the southern planters. One can imagine planters and merchants in Center and Tyson participated in that prosperity. That being said, cotton plantations require abundant labor for plowing, for planting, for chopping, and for picking, which was performed largely by Negro slaves. Cotton plantations existed in the rich land along the rivers. In contrast, Stanley County's many yeoman farmers in the interior, far from rivers and efficient roadways, were less prosperous and operated their homesteads almost exclusively without slave labor. Following the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, southern states began leaving the Union. The state of North Carolina conducted a referendum to determine its future as a Union or a Confederate state. Now, Act 2, Scene 1, the voting place. Will Smith, how do you vote?
Leave the Union.
Let the record so show. Jeremiah Smith votes to secede.
Next voter.
Lord, I sure hope we're doing the right thing here. The North says, I don't think they're going to go in peace, like they say. Maybe the Yankees up there in Boston and New York might, but the people that go over the mountains, along the big rivers, they don't want to give that up too easy. I mean, who in the right mind would give up free access to the high seas and to turn around and have to pay tariffs and tolls? I don't know. I don't know, man. Pray about this.
The statewide vote was narrow, but the result was clear. Remain in the Union. Little known to today's citizen, Stanley County vote was overwhelmingly opposed to leaving the Union. There were 763 votes cast to remain and only 85 to leave the Union and join the Confederacy. Events alter reality, and the reality was Fort Sumter. When the Confederate Army shelled Fort Sumter in April 1861, a United States fort in Charleston Harbor, the Civil War was on. President Lincoln called 4 state governors to supply 75,000 men to defend the country. Governor John W. Ellis, a Salisbury resident, refused to comply, saying, North Carolina would not provide its sons to invade the South. Rather, he called upon senators and members of the House of Commons of the General Assembly to meet in special session in Raleigh on the 1st of May to reconsider the question. He exhorted all good citizens throughout the state to be mindful that their first allegiance is due to the sovereignty which protects their homes and dearest interests. North Carolina left the Union on May 20th, 1861 and joined the Confederacy. Act 2, Scene 2, Yard and Porch, 1862.
Hello? Hello, anyone home? We're the Home Guard.
Good day to you. How can I help you?
You are Miss Davis, right?
What do you want?
The Jones boy, have you seen him lately?
The one over there? Why, he went off to war a month ago.
That's what they all say, but we know better. Keep an eye out for him and let us know if you see anything of him, okay?
Certainly. I can't imagine Mrs. Jones over there allowing their son to be a deserter.
You would not believe what people will do these days.
Listen up now. Don't you dare say a word of this to no one. Anybody ask you, you don't know nothing. We gotta go help that one.
Having voted to remain in the Union by an 8-point margin, Stanley's citizen could hardly be expected to fall in line enthusiastically behind the war effort. There were many resistors and others who deserted the Army. Early in the war, a Stanley County Vigilance Committee was formed to round up deserters and discipline disloyal citizens. The committee contained 9 districts, each with its own lieutenant in charge. Over time, other groups were formed to run down resistors and deserters. The name remembered best for them is the Home Guard. The Home Guard's job was difficult and thankless. To fulfill their duty, they sometimes used severe tactics, such as imprisonment, torture, and even executions. The father of one deserter was hung by his thumbs and whipped to obtain the whereabouts of his very own son. The inspiration for the next scene, a mother instructed her daughter to be careful delivering food to her brother, who was hiding from the Home Guard, came from Mary Frances Young, a public school teacher and mother of a playwright. Les Young. Long ago, one of her students spoke of a cave along a creek where deserters hid out during the war. Attempts to identify such a location have resulted in 2 possibilities. One legend says there is such a cave. A second one, that there's an outcrop of rock near a creek where deserters may have camped out. Anyway, Act 2, Scene 3, kitchen.
Now, honey, you must do exactly as I say. This is important, really important. Just like before, you're going to take this food down to Boise Creek. And just like before, it's very important that you don't be seen. Now, do be careful and don't forget to stay inside the wood lines and don't cross any fields and don't let anybody see you. How long will they be in that cave? Well,
We don't know. The home guard's been nosing around and asking questions. And we aren't really sure if they're on to us or not, but we don't think so. But if those boys are found, they're going to be in terrible trouble, and so will we. So it's very important that you don't tell anybody about this, not even your brothers and sisters. Now, anybody sees you, you go on down to Aunt Ella and take that basket of food and just act calm and normal and don't let any own that you're doing it. Okay?
I can do that.
I know you can, and those boys are dependent on us.
In another astonishing report, a free black man named David Easley was brought before the Home Guard in Albemarle and threatened with imprisonment if he did not agree to willingly offer his services to the benefit of the Confederacy. No resolution of the Easley case has been found. But the 1860 census does list David Easley, free black male, age 23, together with siblings living in one household, apparently in the Cottonville area. During the Civil War and for decades that followed, life in Center and Tyson resembled that of the early pioneers, everyone sharing a common poverty. By war's end, the economy had crumbled and hyperinflation ran rampant. Those who owned Confederate dollars began to realize their currency may remain worthless forever. There was little money and fewer jobs. Families did what they could to scrape together. More and more families lived on farmland owned by others, the landlord. Some called this sharecropping, others tenant farming. As a general practice, the landowner provided the land, a home, and a barn, credit for buying essentials, and sometimes a mule and farm equipment. Upon harvest, the landowner and tenant would settle up, paying off debts and sharing what little remained. Gradually, events began to reshape the landscape. Some people moved from farm to village and dreamed of a new economy. There were such men in every village. Let's listen to three of the pioneers in Norwood talk of the town they hoped to build. Acts 2, Scene 4, at the root of a tree, in 1880.
Mr. Bennett, Mr. Bennett, tell him what's going on up yonder in Salisbury.
All right, boys, here's the deal. It's straight plus Henry. They think it's a fair chance they'll still get the railroad wage work. Of course, there'll be a deep on the cotton platform here too.
Just think about it, cotton and wheat sales be here. It'll bring a lot of money to our town.
For long, there, cotton press, lumber yard, cotton mill.
Just think about hotels and brickyard. We got some mighty fine soil, clay soil around here. It makes some mighty fine brick.
People are starting to know the center again with our two caddies. You know, down there at Shanklin, now here in town. Scholars is coming all the way from down War Hill, down Bennisville.
Captain Bennett, are you really confident about getting the gentleman soon to incorporate Norwood?
Well, sure. It'll go through. Chairman of the committee prefers the name Norwood. Folks been posting the mail of Norwood Brothers store for generations.
How about your new church plan, term? You think it's gonna go through?
Looks solid to me. Jacob and Eli Shankle promised to donate the timber shield to the foundation.
Boys, y'all better keep going. Get taken care of them mercantile accounts. If you don't, somebody's gonna snatch them up away from y'all.
In 1891, a new era was dawning, and everyone knew it. This era was confirmed with each ship them cotton, each ship them corn, leaving by the Yankton Railroad, as well as with each new business that opened. For who knows why, the decision was made to terminate the railroad at Norwood and not continue it to Westboro. The roadway had been constructed in large part with convict labor. Rural boys knew not to hang around in town too long. The sheriff might haul them in on some charge, so he could be minus quota of convict labor. On the right side, Norwood was now incorporated and had general stores, a cotton platform at the depot, a newspaper, a private high school, and the construction of homes and commercial buildings were booming. The new Methodist church sanctuary was assigned to behold, the very one that we're enjoying today. Steadily, rural families abandoned farm life and sought employment in town. They worked in retail, in construction, and in emerging industries. Professionals also appeared, some that were homegrown. There were doctors, pharmacists, educators, a newspaper publisher, and a railroad engineer. The prospects for this new economy shone bright for the first time since the war. Act 2, Scene 5, a baseball line.
Okay, let's see what these Salisbury lads have in them.
Theodore Klutz says they're unstoppable. Wonder why Norwood would invite them to play.
Klutz, he's the same as all politicians. His side is always the West.
Go, boy.
So that's the way it's done. Bring your own umpire. The best battery in North Carolina. Let's see what these Rowan boys can do.
Bivens and McKenzie, watching the same ball game. To read your reports, one would hardly believe it.
Professor Smith, how many of these boys do you claim as your stock?
The way they're playing, every last one.
Where are you sitting, Smith?
With the home team, the Honorable S.J. Pemberton got my seat. How many spectators do you see here today?
Pushing 200.
Dan Bivens can't count either. 250 if there's a dozen.
You'll at least report it as you like.
That's it. Game's over. Boys, if you ain't had enough of Norwood yet, you can catch your own train home, because I'm out of here.
It isn't fair, and you know that. We still had a chance if Carter had only given us opportunity back. How could he do his own team? His own team. That's right.
J.D. Bivens, reporter for the Stanley News, was a lifelong newspaper man. J.W. McKenzie published the Southern Vedette, having moved his press to Norwood from Troy when the Yadkin Railroad arrived the previous year. McKenzie explained the relocation to his subscribers, saying, "In Norwood, breaking news arrives almost instantly by telegraph and publications by rail. At Troy, news arrives by horse and buggy from Asheboro 2 days old." By the end of the century, many rural families were moving to town for public work. This was work on a mill or clerking in a village store with public work. Pay was regular. One did not have to wait for the harvest and gamble on a favorable yield and fair price. That was the beginning of the epic migration from rural countryside to village and then on to distant market centers, a migration that continues today within nearly every family, here and throughout the world. People seek a better life over there, often far beyond the horizon. Despite the many hardships of our ancestors, black and white alike, they raised families and provided opportunities for their children. They organized churches and schools. They cared for the less fortunate among them. They cherished their nation. Clearly, it isn't possible to include all that one might hope to in a program such as this. There's a long history of villages such as Shankle in the Fork, Silver, around Rocky River Springs, Half, Mount Zion, and Porter that could be told. There were schools and churches, country stores, livery stables, and cotton gins, each with a history of its own. In presenting Between the Rivers, we attempted to capture an essence of rural 19th century life in this region, the life of the common man.